it's so delightful that it can be done in so many different ways because teams are still early on in the season are not catching on to how to stop them every possession down because it's very unpredictable what they're doing.
Yeah, and it really helps when you've got weapons surrounding him, right?
Right.
And Anthony Slater with The Athletic has talked about that. He's kind of using Sabonis in that Draymond Green role. And you know how many times you see with the Warriors, Draymond will get the ball and go. But with Sabonis, there's just so much off of that. He is not only a great passer, but hey, he can go ahead and attack you a little bit. He could play a little bully ball with you. He can do a little more offensively than what Draymond can do. So that was just what his impact tonight was. Outstanding from the start. I do want to mention one thing before you jump in there.
Yeah.
Just to rewind, I was looking back at my notes. 11-13 mark of the first quarter. Mike Brown had to call a timeout after a couple of defensive breakdowns. It was 5-1 early. I was a little concerned by the start. I'm like, what is happening? You guys got to come out a little desperate. But after that moment, after that timeout at the 11-13 mark, the Kings locked down defensively. I thought the Kings played some of their best defense of the year tonight. Against the Pacers.
They were really locked in. They were focused. They were paying attention to details, whether that was just hands up in the passing lanes, the way that they wanted to stop the main facilitator and Tyrese Halliburton, something we had talked about. Hey, you saw how Davion Mitchell was on Devin Booker the other night, who had another 50-point night tonight, by the way. But you saw the way that he was disrupting his game, trying to make his life a little bit harder. It was different when you're going up against someone like Tyrese Halliburton, who is just a magical playmaker, but if you can really screw with his handle, because he obviously doesn't have the same handles as someone like a Devin Booker, you're going to screw up a lot of their offense, and that was being done at times. Just fantastic. Sabonis really quick too. Just the other thing I want to mention was that Mike Brown challenge that was called when he stayed vertical up against Tyrese Halliburton, I believe, and they were going to send Tyrese to the line, and they challenged it. Successful challenge. Fantastic job, again, by Sabonis, the way that he just remained vertical. Didn't come down on him, didn't get him with his body, just stayed straight up. Great defense right there.
I think the one area where Sabonis has surprised me most is how good he has been defensively. And people, you know, when you look at bigs, it's always the first thing you look at is, but how many shots do they block a game? There's more to it, especially in today's game. And, you know, I was eager to see how the Kings pick and roll coverage is going to be at times. And I think it continues to get better. And when you've got Sabonis having to come up, it's like, oh no, what's going to happen? But they're so aggressive with that hedge coming out. And Sabonis does a great job staying big. Like he gets his arms out to disrupt things. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that they were going to be able to play Sabonis like that long-term this season. I thought that was going to be an issue, but he moves better than you think. He's big. And he gets back and recovers.
You're so right. It's the fact that they don't have to just go, hey, we got to get in drop coverage every time. He's hedging. Yes. He's stunting the guard in the way that he is being aggressive and active, even with his feet, hands, feet, everything, Deuce. It's because, I mean, I think it's really an effort thing. You know, it's obviously high IQ player understanding what he needs to do to accomplish that in that position. But I believe like he's just determined to get that down. So because he understands that these guards in this league, you got to do everything perfect against them.
So would it be amazing if he could block like 3 shots a game? Yeah, obviously. But he does enough good defensively that I think he's helping the Kings this year in that regard. It's not perfect all the time, but I think he does a great job there. And he also is a elite defensive rebounder. So you couple that, you go, he's been a plus in that area. Yeah. Like, do the Kings still need help with rim protection? Yeah, absolutely. But I think we talk so much about Sabonis' offense. I just think his impact in general is felt from a communication standpoint because he's always talking. He's always communicating. You know, I'm watching the game against Atlanta, a couple of days ago when we were about to do TV, and just getting guys in the right spot, telling Monk, hey, get to that dunker spot, cut off Capella there, force Capella no tough pass. And what do you know, Sabonis is jumping up to deflect it while also going out to close out on the shooter, DeJounte Murray. He does a great job with effort plays in that regard, which is huge. And then offensively, even on a night where he's quiet scoring, and it's kind of misleading. He only played 23 minutes tonight. He had 11 points. He had 10 rebounds and 7 assists in 23 minutes on 5 of 9. Even when he doesn't have the ball, just watch him. Sometimes I will say, ignore the ball, and I'm just going to watch Sabonis move and point around and get guys, hey, cut there. He's constantly talking, and I think what he does for this team can't be understated.
No, and it
Overstated. I always do that.
Yeah, you do always do that. Overstated. There we go.
Turnover.
Another turnover deuce. You're absolutely right. The communication from especially a big, someone who's in the middle and sees a lot of it on the defensive end, but then on the offensive end, a big that has incredible vision and can make some of the best passes, but understands too where people should be on the floor and can lead in that is just such a positive thing for this squad going forward. Now, I do worry about at times, like, what's their identity without him? You know, it's a long season, health and tired legs and all these different things can happen. But you've seen the Kings, and just like tonight, when they go to their second unit, guys know what to do. There was a time there's a lineup late in the game, Deuce, and I know you're probably going to get to this, when it was Davion, De'Aaron, maybe Monk, HB, and Metu. I think it was, maybe it was TD instead of Monk. But either way, it was that smaller lineup after Sabonis picked up his fourth, and they just pushed, kept the pace going, stayed with their game, did not hold the ball on the offensive end. It was great.